It's because, why is it? Why is it? Ooh, I don't know. But here's the thing. It's all good. If you just have an energy drink and sit down in the sun, if it's sunny, that's good. And sip it and see what's happening around you and see how things respond to you. See how things respond to you, because a lot of times I feel like when you're not being appreciated, when things aren't really coming to you, when it feels like you're repelling things, that's when you're not doing well. So that's just a checker. You can check if you're doing well if you just sit down somewhere and see if the dogs come up, see if the ants come towards you, see if you can give the ants a gummy bear, and will they eat it? That's the question. Sometimes they won't, because maybe they're in the stage of their building where they just don't really want they don't want sweet stuff, but that means the universe hasn't aligned it correctly. That's really important. Hasn't aligned it correctly. So it's really tough to feel like you're not in charge of it's hard to feel like you're not in charge of your own life, because the truth is you're not in charge of your own life. Which is a blessing and a curse. Yes. Because think about what it takes for something to align. We're animals, but the mind really likes to think we're something different. The mind is powerful, I think that's where pride comes in. I think that's a man's problem usually. It's because even the most like kind of neck beard bummy kind of guy has got pride, because they feel like they know something and how they probably do something. You ever seen like, I do a degree, so I see people who are smart all the time, and you don't have to be, you can have nothing but be smart and you kind of get by. So we really feel like we know stuff, and it can feel like this is the seat of the soul, but it's not. The seat of the soul is hard to even say. I mean, it's everywhere. It's the chakras, It starts from the root, from your groin, all the way to the top of your head. Where am I going? I'm just saying, don't worry, Please don't worry. I know that's a big one. People are stressed and they don't know why. And it's okay. If you're stressed, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It could actually mean there's something wrong with your environment. Okay, so just stay aware of what's happening around you. It could be you, it could be the environment, but just don't jump to conclusions. That's the easiest thing to do, to say, I feel a certain way, therefore, shkabala shkabala, doubla doubla, therefore this conclusion. And you put your whole feeling into one sentence. It's like, no. Someone could do that, I was going to say you could do that in a biography about someone fairly insignificant, written 50 years after their passing. But then I didn't even want to say that, because you can write a big biography about someone, and if that person is you, then it's the most important biography, right? That's your life. So many things happen, so many experiences. You have so much value. You really do. You have so much value. But because your attention is on specific things, you associate with those things and you stake your value on that. Let me give you an example. If you always notice people's clothing, you like people's clothing, you're into fashion, you might stake your own value, on what kind of clothing you wear. It's that kind of association. It's the same thing with women. Looking at women used to be a big thing for me. Like, it's like seeing if they like me or if I like them. And before you know it, you're playing a game, like an attention game. It happens with people, objects, anything. So it creeps in and your attention is on these things, and then you start to identify with those things. But remember, what you look at is it's arbitrary. Your attention could be on anything. So then who are you to make that moment your whole reality? Does this person like me, or do I like this person? This kind of being not sure. And then we try and draw conclusions. Like I said earlier, we try and draw conclusions when we make a statement about ourselves, which we then carry forwards, and we have this like mental framework which we apply to life. It's like, oh, I came to this conclusion in my head a couple of days ago, so now if this person looks at me in this kind of way, I'm going to do this. And then you just become a robot. You're not living. You're really living in the past. You're depressed because you're living from your past anxiety about the future. Does that make sense? You made a projection about the future, and then you moved on from that, and then you obeyed your past self, which is depression, which is a closed circuit, on its own anxiety. So you're playing this kind of game. It's simple. Stay in the now. Stay in the now, like I'm talking to you now. Although I'm not talking to someone, which I think is a little bit weird, but you get the point. It's like they come, the thoughts come and they go, and you can choose to say them or choose not to, and it's just all flowing in naturally. And I think a big thing for me was when things flow naturally, sometimes that just does lead to overthinking. So the goal isn't to not overthink. Don't try and stop yourself, or do. It doesn't actually matter in the end. If this reaches you, that's enough, But if you do, just realize you're doing that. You'll just be like, I'm overthinking. I'm really in my own head. And it's interesting because, like, you don't notice these things for years, actually. I didn't notice it for years, that I was sitting alone in my room, in my own head, in the morning or whenever it was, not achieving anything, like zero movement, just trapped in my head, trying to solve a problem, going back to problems, going back to things people said and things I could have done. And there's a certain psychological comfort in that because it's comfortable, but you just get sick of it. So even me saying this, we all come to this anyway. We all come to this because you just get sick of it, because you realize nothing's changing. And then you come to a place where you realize that when you sit like that for so long, you just start to notice you're doing it. And then you just remember all the times that you sat there for hours, sometimes in the night even, and nothing came of it. And you remember, and then you realize that this is a trend, that nothing comes from this. And if we boil it down, nothing breeds nothing, obviously. Only something breeds something. Nothing comes out of nothing. Except the beginning of the universe. But even that, that's people really talking about their own life, Something came out of nothing. I guess something can come out of nothing. You can really just have a spontaneous shkablang. And you stand up and you do something you weren't expecting to do, and that's life. You finally say, I'm sick of this. And you do something. So that's a big one. Just don't be stressed. Don't worry so much about it. If you feel a certain way, because I've had conversations lately, people are very anxious. I see people who are anxious, they just can't stop moving, rocking. I do it too, rocking, bouncing from side to side when they're standing. It's like something's making them really uncomfortable. Something making them really uncomfortable, and come on, it's not a way to live, I would say. It's okay, but I think a lot of people are living somewhere else. They're not here. But here is painful. This is the thing. Here can be painful. Here and now can be means feeling, accepting the way you feel and still moving through life. Because I think if I was feeling a certain bad way in the past, I would freeze, try and fix it, and I wouldn't move until I fix it. But it's a problem because some problems are fixed through movement, naturally fixed through movement. So when you sit down and try and diagnose yourself, it's not even for you, dude. It's not for you to do. Lass, dude, whoever it is. Like, you ever see a dog trying to fix its own problem? It's got a bad tooth? Nah. It just sits there in pain. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't make it worse by, like, thinking about it or, like, trying to solve it. Or unless it can actually solve it. Here's the thing. It can actually solve. Sometimes it licks the wound. Or does that even help? I don't know if that helps. But, you know, like, if it can do something, it will. If not, it just moves, you know? You gotta try and be like a dog a little bit. I love dogs. I love it when a dog just starts running around in the park and it's just got its tongue out and it's just so hyped up. Like, you know, when a dog is kind of walking and then it snaps into movement, it kind of swings its head like bang, and then it just starts running, and it's just a hype moment. I love that. And when I see that, it makes me hyped up, makes me want to run. There's something just beautiful about running, like just running for no reason. That's like playing, you know? So where was I even going? I don't know, but if this reaches even one soul, I just want you to know it's okay. Stop worrying. If you feel stressed for no reason, don't try and diagnose yourself. There is a reason. You'll find out what it is in due course. Nothing is ever closed. Life is always open. Just when you think you've got the conclusion, it's actually a part of something bigger. Like writing an essay or solving a problem, it's always part of a bigger problem. So, you know, it never ends, and that's the blessing and that's the curse. So don't ever think it's all finished and done. You've always got something more to discover. So if you have a feeling, just run with it. Just get to the bottom. Depending on what you're feeling, just try and get to the bottom of it, you know? It takes a bit of courage sometimes. It's not easy. But just throw stuff at the wall. Why not? Just like, things work out in the end, always. Which sounds cringe and like untrue, and I'm not even trying to say there's like a plan, you know, but I think sometimes the plan reveals itself and you didn't even know it was there. So you're like, damn, I was worrying about all that, but actually the real thing was like here. You know, you've got this dream, but really the truth was here, and you kind of come back to that at some point. And what you think you know is not necessarily the case, but it doesn't mean stop trying. Also, don't be afraid to say what you think, because you'll be surprised at how the impact you could have when you tell the truth cannot be underestimated. But it's difficult because people get upset, and you yourself can be upset with your own truth, because to even admit something to yourself can be difficult. I don't know where I'm going now. However, yeah, don't be scared. That's the main one. Just don't be afraid. And if you're feeling stressed, definitely just run with it. It's normal. Don't try and fix it. It'll be fixed. It will be fixed, not by you, by whatever the hell is controlling this life. So see you later.